We are now going to hear from another series of speakers, very powerful speakers, trying to translate really important messages in a very small space of time. Initially, we will hear from Sarah Earle. Then we're going to hear from the phenomenal Ros Wilson, and then also from Ali Daubney. So I'm going to stand aside and let's welcome, first of all, Sarah Earle, please, to the stage. Thank you very much.
I've got a real urge to do some punk pogoing, but I'm going to try and hold that until later. I'm Sarah Earle. I worked in Bristol primary schools for 13 years, and now I'm PGCE tutor at Bath Spa University. But the reason I've snuck down here at the front is because I lead the Teacher Assessment in Primary Science project, the TAPS project. And although it says primary, it's relevant beyond. And although it says science, it's definitely relevant to other subjects too. And so we'll be looking in the next phase of the project at transition and other subjects, and going into Wales where they're developing everything, curriculum and assessment together from scratch with Pioneer Schools. Woohoo! So we're looking forward to the excitement of that too. At the moment, I want to tell you about the work that we've been doing with working in partnership, a bit DIY as well, working in partnership with primaries across the country to try and work out what does good assessment look like. And what we've tried to do is two things. We're gathering a big database, which is going to the web developers next week to get online for everybody, of assessment examples of lots and lots of different ways of assessing different topics, different year groups, because obviously everything needs different kinds. You can't do the same assessment tool, use the same assessment tools for everything. And also a focus on working scientifically, because those are the skills that we want to develop in science, and the thing that you can track progression and so on. So we want to support those by passing out some focused assessment plans, and look at the plans and see, well, how can I have a real clear focus in that lesson, and what's it going to look like for the children to have got there or gone further or not got there yet. So that's all coming. The stuff that's already there online on the PSTT website, I forgot to say that all of this is funded by the Primary Science Teaching Trust. Sorry, sponsors. The Primary Science Teaching Trust website, pstt.org.uk, is where you want to be going for in the resources section. There is the other thing that we've been developing with science subject leaders across the country is a structure for how to work out how well science is doing. We've made into booklets and things like that. You might have one in your little packs, and you can download it off the website if you're at home. And we've got a pyramid structure. We've got lots of detail, and basically you click on the box and it takes you to lots of examples from real classrooms. And we'll be repopulating that again next year, hopefully with some of your examples, if you'd like to send them to us, of things that are going on. The headlines of this, which is on the screen for those of you who are in the room, and in the booklet if not, although I have been tweaking the wording, so listen out for the slight changes. The idea of the pyramid as a structure is to put most of the assessment focus into the classroom. The idea is that, that we really well know that the place where you make the biggest impact is in the classroom, and getting the pupils actively involved, using peer assessment, self-assessment, co-constructing the success criteria with the children, getting the children actively involved. That's the light blue layer of our pyramid, and there's lots of examples to click on in those boxes. And then the teachers' role, the responsive teachers who are changing and adapting and tweaking their questioning and their timing and their pace, and moving on if the kids have got there, and doing different things to find out about all the different types of learning that's going on in their classroom. To support subject leaders in particular, we've got different ways of moderating in examples, because moderation discussions that you have with colleagues at staff meetings, or just over Twitter, or just talking to each other, saying, does this look like they've got it or not? Those kind of things, well, we don't know, it's a brand new curriculum. What does it look like to have got evolution, for goodness sake? So those things are discussing now, and those discussions that you have, those are the ways that you make teacher assessment reliable. You have confidence in it. The way that you make it valid is by using lots and lots of different information from different sources, not just whether they can read the questions on a test paper. And you make it manageable by making it really focused so that you can summarise what you find out in the classroom for whichever purpose of reporting is needed at the time. So if you're reporting to parents, but it's for a purpose, it's principled assessment. I can't see whether I've got a yellow card. That's perfect timing, because my last point is that we're creating examples which will support teachers' confidence, because you feel more confident if you've seen something like it that you can tweak or adapt. The pyramid is a supportive structure to support subject leaders, and that's giving subject leaders confidence that you can see in what's happening in your school. And my last point is to invite all of you and all the people who are not here today and are keeping up on Twitter or on YouTube to the next version of this in Bath Spa University, Bath Spa Institute for Education, on the 22nd of September. So if you like what you are hearing today, come and do the next stage in September. Can't wait.
I can't talk as fast as Sarah, Dame Alison. What am I going to do? And it's all in Yorkshire anyway, so there's got no chance. Assessment isn't hard. You just have to know what you need to know. You need to know why you need to know it. And you need to know what you're going to do with it when you know it. And if you're not going to do anything with it, you don't need to do it. So just stop assessing and the job's done. So sit down. The trouble is that the powers that be want to weigh and measure us. So they're going to keep imposing summative assessment which will only tell them what the kids knew on that particular day against that particular set of questions. Doesn't tell them any more than that, doesn't tell them any less. But they seem to think it's very important to compare us, and I've got more than anyone else, so we'll be all right. Formative assessment is the talking with the children, it's watching the children, it's working with the children, and it's knowing precisely what they need to do next. But to do that, you have to have profound subject knowledge. And we don't all have the same subject knowledge in all subjects. In the primary curriculum, the new national curriculum, almost all of it is written as right or wrongs, tick box exercises. Most are maths, science, historical and geographical knowledge, modern foreign languages, even reading comprehension in this simple sense, are tick box. 7 out of 10 has a meaning if you know what the questions were. 87% has a meaning if you know what the questions were. But my area is writing, and writing is an art form. It works more like a piece of music or a dance or a work of art. It's a holistic marriage of things. It's all the things going on together at the same time. It's the purpose it's being written for. It's the technical skills in the writing, including the basic skills. It's the stimulus, the why you're writing. But above all, it's that ephemeral quality. When you get a quality piece of writing, it's what the writer, him or herself, brings to the table. And what we normally call voice and style, that gives the piece atmosphere, or excitement, or drama, or suspense. And those things can't be measured, and really you need to be looking at the whole picture at the same time. But the powers that be don't like that. They have struggled over recent years from inadequate to inept. I'll stand with my back to the wall if you don't mind. They have given us an assessment tool for writing this year, which is 16 tick boxes, of which 15 are pure technicalities and 14 of them are out of spag. I was shown a piece of writing 2 weeks ago on which you could tick every single one of those boxes except one from that one piece of writing, but it didn't make a word of sense. It was incoherent nonsense. The same time, on the same days, there were 4 pieces of writing circulating on Twitter from a girl in year 6. And if I could talk in old money, because it still has a meaning to many of us, 2 of the pieces would have got level 5 in the old system, and 2 would have got level 6. And the moderator had described her as working towards end of key stage expectation because she hadn't used the passive voice enough. What a travesty, colleagues. What sort of world are we working in? Interestingly and very sadly, her work was pulled off Twitter only 2 days later because the school were afraid of the consequences. Oh, that's yellow, but I'm colourblind, I can't see red. No, I promised Dame Alice and I would behave nicely, and I've done quite well for me. You need support to assess writing, it is true. And I still believe that the best support you could have is to use our criterion scale. If I didn't believe it was the best, I would have stolen whatever anyone else had written and used it in its place. But it's just because writing is so complex, and if I don't know precisely what the child can do, I can't help the child to move forward. And we do need to be teaching writing, not hoping that children will just develop it by themselves. So I will finish now, colleagues. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank Dame Alison for giving me the chance. And now my chair shall be passively regained.
Yeah, okay. So thank you so much, Ros Wilson. And can we welcome, please, Ali Daubney and Professor Martin Falkley. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Well, I think that's quite difficult to follow, but we're going to have a go. We were asked today to talk about teachers and how can we help teachers to make the assessment really work. And we were asked to talk about it from our subject perspective, which is music. And while we were sitting there, I was thinking, we've got a punk man, we've got this lady. Before Christmas, we were writing a song on Twitter, and it went something like, Level 6B, Level 5A, Pink Banana, Flight Path 1. Stamp their heads with verbal feedback, fill in spreadsheets just for fun. And we were writing lines and sharing them backwards and forwards. Now, they all came out of stuff that we get sent by teachers, I kid you not, because in music education, assessment is getting right in the way, to be quite honest. And I think a lot of schools are still very scared. It doesn't matter what Ofsted say, you know, we don't want this, we don't want that, but I think they still want this, Ali. I think they still want this. And so if you ask a music teacher what good assessment looks like, you can be damn sure they can tell you. And it doesn't look like verbal feedback stamps and filling in spreadsheets and flight paths and all of that kind of stuff. But they also recognise that they have to play games, which is entirely wrong in my book. I think that we are getting to a position where we have got a lot of commercial assessment systems which are not fit for purpose as far as the arts subjects are concerned. And I think if you flipped it the other way around and asked the arts subjects to write a system and went, here you go, maths, have that, they'd look at it and go, what? So what's working for some subjects is definitely just not going to work for the arts. And so a lot of the one-size-fits-all, tick this statement, tick that statement, is getting in the way of learning. It's making the curriculum skewed. So let's turn this positively. What do you want? You want senior leaders who give teachers the freedom to innovate the curriculum, to take ownership of the curriculum and to go, yes, I understand what musical learning actually looks like. And so to take the focus away from assessment and put it back onto curriculum and pedagogy with assessment going all the way around, supporting that. And to recognise that music is a sonic art. That song I sung you, it's been and gone. I haven't got an English book or a maths book to go back to. So musical assessment has got to be musical, fit for purpose and take the musical with it. So my last point is that what teachers need is some damn good CPD, which is ongoing, supportive, musical, that is based around action research kind of ideas. So they're always looking at their own practice, and it brings in scholarship, not just to go, oh, there's a piece of evidence to back up what I think, but actually going wider than that. I'm going to pass over to Martin.
Should we dance?
Why not?
Why not? It's a music one. One of the real issues for music has been, who is the assessment for? And I've talked about it being for, is it for the pupils? Is it for the kids? Is it for the teacher? Or is it for the system? And one of the things that we've both seen in the work that we've done on assessment is a huge amount called the system. And somewhere there must be millions of Excel spreadsheets that have lots and lots of marks on them, which have no meaning whatsoever for the kids involved in creating it. So they've sung a song, exactly as Ali has demonstrated, and somebody somewhere has turned this into something which is Excelable, if that word exists. And therein lies the problem, because all of the musical work that we've done probably isn't best judged by Excel. And so we have all sorts of musical things going on, but it's not just music, it's other subjects too. So who is the assessment for? Because as a room full of educators, we're spending a huge amount of time feeding this Excel leviathan for its non-stop diet of spreadsheets, when what we really want to be doing is helping kids learn. So I think the question is, who is the assessment for?